This video gives us an opportunity to showcase who we are, what we stand for, our company culture, our mission, our values, and our principles. Whether it is a supplier partner, a new hire employee, or someone who's been hanging their hat at Murdoch's for many, many years, it's an opportunity for them to get a sense of what we stand for.
We have in our MVPs that, treating everyone as you want to be treated. I definitely embrace that, but I think it's more than that. I think that we need to be looking at every customer as they want to be treated, not as we want to be treated, so that when they walk in the door, we're not just saying, "Hey, how you doing?" That doesn't apply to grandma. We had a gentleman just the other day, walked in 15 minutes after we closed. I don't think he had an idea that we were closed at all. But Gary, let him in, no issue, no problem. I started walking over, helping him with a trimmer. He's an elderly gentleman. And one of the high school kids that we had recently hired, he wasn't upset, but was looking at me like, "Hey, what?" And I turned to him and we had a quick discussion and said, "Hey, is that your grandpa somewhere else? If he's 85, if he walks into a store in Maine, what does that employee do there? Does he say, 'Sorry, sir, we're closed, you got to come back tomorrow,' and watch him slowly walk into the car that took him 4 minutes to get out of? Or do you help him and, it's not about him recognizing, the gentleman recognizing that we were even open or not. It's just the fact that you have the chance to treat somebody really well. That, to me, is the fun part.
The faster we can get the information, the quicker we can get the price for someone, the more information we can give them, the better we treat their dog and say hello to their children and comment about a little girl's dress or how cute her boots look on her, what a great cowgirl she's going to make with that pink hat. Things like that really make a big difference. And I feel like the more we know about our store and our family, the better we can make them feel and the more comfortable they can feel when they come to our home.
In high school, I worked at a hardware store that sold sporting goods. And we had a sales rep that would come in and stock the shelves. And, I was just a kid sweeping the floor after school. And I hadn't seen the guy for 2 years. And I walked into he opened a store in Livingston. And I walked in and he looked up from behind the counter and said, "John, what are you doing here?" And it floored me. I mean, the fact that he could call me by name. I would then drive to Livingston just because I thought he cared that I was in the store. What I try to do is if I have somebody that I know I've seen in the store, but I don't know them, I'll go introduce myself. Hopefully they'll be back before the memory goes away, and just repetition. You see them enough, they, almost become a new friend.
Other than horses being my passion, I think I enjoy helping people. I like being able to, my wife says I have a service soul. Willingness to help, I think, is more important than the product knowledge. Though not having any product knowledge hinders your ability to help. But I can know everything about everything in this store. But if I'm not willing to step up in front of that customer to try to help them best I could, then I'd be useless. But on the flip side, if I knew nothing and was willing to put my heart and soul into it and help every customer I could and try to learn and try to be better every time I come to work, I think that that would make me a better employee, a better associate, team member.
When I'm showing somebody a product in the department, I try to just tell them about the product and point out the features and benefits of an item rather than selling them an item. It can be so different than, it's not a sales technique. You're just informing them of the benefits of an item, and they can decide whether they want to buy it or not.
We want everybody to be happy in the company we work for. We're a giant family, basically. And for me, it's just they expect a lot of their employees, and the employees get a lot back from the company through Murdoch's, and they take care of us.
A new employee here is really seen as a valued piece of a really big mission. And having something greater than yourself to work for is a kind of a catchy phrase for a lot of people, but somehow Murdoch's has figured out a way to make that real for its employees. Somehow, actually, is probably not the right way to put it, because they have figured out a system to help you feel like you are and always have been a really integral piece of this team. And the fact that you're just starting now is kind of the somehow part.
Boy, I'll tell you what, if we didn't have the trust of anybody in our company, things just would not work. I enjoy it when I can go to somebody and tell them in confidentiality on a problem, an issue, and it stays with that person to get resolved.
It's family, how are you personally, then we'll get into the store stuff. And I think that's important. I think it's tremendous that they care enough about each individual employee that's what they do.
Well, I think the one thing that just really warmed my heart and made me feel great about this company was a coworker who really needed some time, medical reasons. And all the people at this company were willing to give up their vacation days to give to her so she could have that time that was much needed for her family. And that just made me feel so great. Like, wow, there's a great company to be with, and I'm glad I am.
There's a book by Lou Holtz called Winning Every Day, and that is where the acronym GET was lifted from. The Golden Rule, Excellence, and Trust. And that's how Lou Holtz coached his football teams. And John Murdoch is a huge football fan. He's a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan, but he read that book and it triggered something in him. He's like, okay, this will work for us. And basically, Golden Rule, everybody knows what that's all about. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Excellence, we will perform our jobs with excellence. And in return, we expect you to do the same. You perform with excellence. And out of those two things, you have trust in an organization, and you're able to you don't have to put everything in writing. You don't have to have a huge rule book. It's just, this is how we're going to operate, and we're held accountable, and we hold one another accountable to live up to that.
I cannot express with enough gratitude the enthusiasm that I have for where we are as a company today. Do we have a long ways to go? Absolutely. But with the right people on the bus, we're going to get there. And I'm really excited about that.